Radio.
Okay then, so welcome along to the Kick Studios and the series of podcasts that we've put together following our Kick Radio Youth Conference in Warsaw last week, which certainly has attracted a lot of attention. During that conference, we had a debate and speeches by various other guests, but the one that stole the show was from my first guest, and that is Ray Ritess. Welcome, Ray.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming along. So, you would describe yourself as a spoken word artist or poet?
Yeah, a spoken word poet. That's what I would like to say, really. That's the main goal, really, just to be known for my poetry and my words, really.
Yeah. Okay, so how long have you been writing poetry?
So I'm 21 now. I started writing poetry when I was 11.
Really?
Yeah. My first poem was about like a little green alien, and my teacher laughed at me.
Green alien?
Yeah,
okay, that's unusual.
But yeah, I started taking it seriously for like the last year and a half now.
Right. Okay. So, where does this all come from? Is this coming from kind of a desire to make change, or to give young people a voice, or
Poetry.
Yes.
It's funny actually, because I started off writing music when I was younger.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in a household where music wasn't really, because I'm Muslim, so I'm raised Muslim as well.
Okay.
And music's not really, permitted in the household. So I would write music and hide them under my pillow. And then I came across something called button poetry, which is basically what in America is where they have their whole heart and soul in the stage, and you can say anything and it's deemed creative. And I was like, I want to try that. So I tried it, and this is where we are today, like almost a decade later. So yeah, that's really it. I want the world to see the world through my eyes, basically, pushing my perspective onto the world, because I'm a big thing on perspective. There's 1,000 perspectives on one perspective, and that's my thing with poetry. It allows you to intake the poem how you want to take it, all while thinking about what it actually means and what it could mean, what it does mean, what it doesn't mean, all of it. So.
Right. So the first poem you're going to do for us today is called
Knife Lessons.
Knife Lessons. So is that as it sounds around knife crime? Is that the angle you're coming from?
That is basically the angle that I'm coming from. It's knife crime's it's an ongoing thing, I suppose, but this is my take on it anyway.
Perfect. You carry on.
Right. Mama knows best, but I didn't get to learn that till she was gone. There's 1,001 things I wish I could tell my mum. Like, I finally got a woman and I got a perfect job. There's just so many conversations a mother needs to have with their son. They will only talk to God pleading just for another one. There's just so many things I wish I could have done differently, like going to school in the direction that she sent me, engaging in my studies despite the books being lengthy. But see, I thought I was a big man, but in my heart I was a baby. I was 14, chilling with men that were 19 and 20, but they had it all. Cars and money, there was plenty. They would call me the little brother. Spoiled me before school. The girls thought I was hard and the man thought I was cool, but then after school, there was a shop at the top of the hill where they all used to huddle. Mum said they were childish and always causing trouble, but then I see them laughing and smiling, so that got me kind of puzzled. Until one day, I was part of the huddle. I was 15, broke, I needed to hustle. So I take the chocolates from the shop and I sold them for double. I was making serious notes, and I was making a couple. Every week, at lunchtime in the canteen, I was unstoppable. Until Miss Anderson caught me. She grabbed my bag and she rubbed my sweets. She led me to her office and said, "Have a seat." She told me, "I respect the grind, Jay, but this is against the school's policy. Whatever you want to do, just make sure it's after school's property." And that was probably the worst thing she could have said to me. I continued to rub Bossman until the shelves were empty. My pockets were full, never mind. I didn't know back then, but my fate was already signed. See, I was getting praised by the older guys. They all nodded in approval and agreed it was time. They gave me their backpack and replaced it with mine. I held my breath as I looked inside. Until this day, I find it ironic because they replaced my sweets with trees, and I never understood how something so green could make it so hard for me to breathe. They told me, "Yeah, little man, No more £1 or 50p's. So this one for 10 and this one for 5. I need that bag empty back by 9:30, and here's something special to go keeping in your trouser side. And you got your little watch so you can keep track of the time. Meet us at this bench when you're done because there's something else in line. I put the bag on my back and I walked home. In that moment, I felt so alone. But simultaneously, I felt so grown. But in that moment, I wish I would have known. I walked through my front door. Mum looked at me strange. She tilted her head to the left and asked if I was okay. I responded, but I couldn't really look her in the face. I put my head down and I paced to my room. I needed a place to hide this because Mum was going to come looking in there soon. Which she did. She didn't even knock, she just walked in. She looked at me and she smiled. And I swear to God, every piece of me broke inside. She sat at the edge of my bed and she said, "Jay, I don't see you anymore. Found a heap of money in your top drawer. What you're doing, I'm really not sure. But I pray to the Lord that you're not throwing your life to the floor. I've seen these patterns before. Remember, you don't even go to school anymore. I pray you're being smart and being mature. I can't bear to lose my son anymore." I don't know why that made me so angry. But I grabbed my bag and I walked out the door. If only I could have told her that I loved her just once more. I managed to sell all the goods in the bag. I made a healthy amount of cash. The man did me proud and gave me a bigger stash. I wasn't so young anymore, so this got me kind of gassed. Anything they gave me, I would flip that. I had silver teeth and my money was stacked. I drove a little Corsa and the windows were black. I left home a year ago and I didn't look back. My mum had sent for me, but I didn't send back. She was always trying to tell me how she's worried and I just didn't have the time for that. June 10th, the day I wished all my time back. I was walking under the bridge, bag packed with things I shouldn't be carrying. The only lights were the little ballards at the end of the tunnel. I was calm until I heard shoes start to shuffle. So I reached for the thing inside my duffel. I threw my bag to the ground and we started to tussle. His knife grazed my skin, so I thrusted mine through his. The edge of my blade could feel his heart racing and I froze. But then I immediately tried to save him. He fell to the floor, my knees were shaking. I was so scared I left the blade in. I tried to run but my consciousness was fading. My thoughts were pacing. I reached home and I stripped naked. I cried in the shower like a baby. I had never turned to God before, but that night he had made me. See, that night had changed me. Sometimes I wish I listened to what Miss Anderson had said. The other kids seemed to have listened when Miss Anderson led. So I took Anderson out of the equation and I realised I only followed when Miss led. I wonder if I would be here if I listened to what my mum had said. See, my mum had passed when I was sitting in pen. I couldn't even bring her flowers because I was chained in these shackles instead. I wonder if anyone was even sat at the side of her bed or held her hand while she laid her head to rest. I just think it's kind of grim how I'm weeping over someone who will never really be dead. I keep hearing those words she said. How she doesn't want to lose her son again. But turns out, I lost her instead. The lesson I learnt now, I wish I learnt it back then. My message to the youth is, don't kill for something you don't even want to die for. There's 1,001 ways to make money, and when you're educated, you can earn even more. Put the knife down, put it back in the drawer. Your only enemy is yourself. If you're focused, you won't have to be scared anymore. But more time. Mama knows best. But I didn't get to learn that till she was gone. There's 1,001 things I wish I could tell my mum, like, I finally got a woman and I got the perfect job. There's so many conversations a mother needs to have with their son. Now I only talk to God pleading just for another one. You've been given a second chance. Take it and run.
Wow, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing, Ray.
Thank you so much.
No, it is. It's. I mean, we kind of do a lot of work with young people around knife crime, and that is the piece that really kind of stands out to me as being the one that gets the message across.
Yeah. This is a different approach, really.
Yeah. And perhaps that's what it needs. It needs people like yourself to create a story that young people can relate to, and hopefully that changes the situation that's out there at the moment. Yeah,
man. I hope so. That's the main thing, man. Making change. Just trying to play your part, do your part.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? But thank you. The story is actually a story I put together myself. The storyline.
Okay.
A lot of the people that I went to primary school with are either dead or in prison.
Really?
And it's due to knife crime and things like that. Today, a few of my friends as well do in prison, do you know what I mean? Like, whether you know the world and society want to make it, you know, seem as not as big as it is, it's a really big topic. It's a really big thing that's ongoing. The youth is pretty much in danger, really, especially how the world's changing right beneath our noses, and there's nothing much we can really do apart from just speak up. But sometimes, even when people are scared to speak up, you know, that just allowing things to happen, really.
Is there an answer to it?
An answer to what? Change?
Yeah.
An answer to change. I don't know, actually. I think change starts within a person. There's actually a book that I'm starting to read right now, and it's called The Courage to be Disliked. Very good book. And it talks about Greek philosophy. And Greek philosophy is basically societal views and how we see things and perspective. And there's two things, objective and subjective. Objective is basically what the world sees it as. So just taking out your emotions and your feelings from a point of view to then stop clouding your vision. When you make things into subjective view, that's when adding your emotion and thoughts into things. And that's when life becomes very tricky. Like, he used the example of a well. Every year, the well stays the same with water. In the well, the water is 18 degrees throughout the year. In the summer, if you drink the water will taste like it's cooler. In winter, it feels like it's warmer. However, the water is actually still 18 degrees. The objective point of view would be 18 degrees. The subjective point of view would be that it's warmer or cooler. Now, if you look at this perspective in life, change is just how you see yourself. It's just how much effort you put into the world. Change doesn't have to be so hard, and that's how people make it seem subjective. It doesn't have to be that way. So that's my point of view.
Do you think we worry about too much about what other people think of us?
Yeah, to be honest, I recently started to look at myself as well and think, you know what, there's gonna be a lot of things that I don't like because people don't like it. But if you please Tom on the left, Harry on the right is not gonna like it. But then if you please Harry on the right, Tom on the left is not gonna like it. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna continue to bounce through personalities and just so you can please somebody. You can't please anybody if you're not gonna please yourself. That's my thing. So yeah.
You seem a very driven person.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be.
And you're telling me your actual career is as a civil engineer?
Yeah, and I hate it, really.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I really hate it.
Because it just surprised me, because obviously being a civil engineer, you're quite kind of confined into rules and regulations and formulas and whatever. But you strike me as being a very creative person.
I am, and that's literally the conflict I'm having right now, because there's not much there is much. We just gotta really look for it. But in the beginning, when I went, because I love engineering, don't get me wrong, I love it. I've always, I spent my childhood building Legos. I built a robot. His name was Max as well. So
Right, okay.
I really enjoy engineering. But when I wanted to go into biomedical engineering, but then somehow I found myself in civil engineering, and I absolutely cannot abide it. It's just so tedious. I love maths, but maths 5 days a week is just so detrimental. I don't think it's good for your mental health. I don't think it's good for your mental health at all. Tops off to anybody who enjoys it, but for me personally, it's not for me. Like, I want to be able to be an advocate for the youth and put my passions and my perspectives and points of views and thoughts and words into the world more, rather than just waiting for a performance or waiting to write a poem. If I could have a career in just helping, or a career in just speaking up, or a career in being creative, I think what would make me really and truly happy. Civil engineering is aesthetic.
I honestly think that's a really good possibility.
Yeah.
I think you just need a little bit more kind of exposure, and I'm sure you're going to get there. I'm absolutely.
I'm pushing. My thing is, sacrifice is nothing when you have a vision. And my thing is, I have a vision, and it's not just a vision; it's a belief. When you believe things, when you believe in your craft, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching myself that every day, because when I first started this poetry thing, I remember there's one horrible girl who was like, "Oh, nobody's gonna listen to you anyway." Sorry, So I don't see how you don't even know me for you to be telling me that nobody's going to listen to what I'm doing. I will make people listen, and that's what I want to do, make people listen.
You certainly made people listen at the conference.
I
Absolutely. You certainly made us listen in the studio today. Now, you've got one more piece for us, I believe?
Yeah. It's a piece I wrote at the conference. It's just basically about empowering youth and, you know, making people, you know, understand that youth voices is more than just a voice. So, let's find that.
Yeah, certainly youth voice is what KIC is all about. It's KIC stands for Kids in Communication, and we want to see people.
Real?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. So that's always been our mission, is to give young people a voice. So especially with the new studios here, I think we can do that. We've had some really good podcasts in the last couple of weeks here, but this is totally different, Ray. And it's, you know, if this kind of exposes you to the world, then fantastic. Because you can change. I have absolutely the belief that you can change things.
I really appreciate that, man. I think that is my biggest dream, to just change the world.
Follow your dream.
Literally.
Follow it. You can do it.
I appreciate you guys. This piece is not as long as the last one, but here we go. What if I told you you could impact the future generation with the power of change that exceeds your imagination? A simple combination of communication and the application of knowledge. What if I told you could create an earthquake filled with equity? A significant ability to give sound to the silenced. What if I told you could empower untold stories? Explore these compact inventories of younger minds. See, history has been painted in black and white. But if we seek the untold stories, we might just discover a rainbow. Let's remove dismay from this display of speaking out loud. We can make them proud to be who they are. Let's break down the fourth wall and deconstruct binaries, dynasties of change, investigate inquiries, sew together tapestries of young voices. Welcome them a place to stay, a place to be, a place to see and to be seen, a place for them to truly understand what heritage really means, a place we can be different to fit in. Your identity is powerful. To be unique is your strength. It takes courage to build a pride. Because what if we were connected? What if love was injected into their veins, not into their roots, not into their veins? We could adapt this change. Yesterday's history will always stay the same, but tomorrow's history could change. Today, I'm telling you, you could impact the future generation with the power of change that exceeds your imagination. A simple combination of communication and the application of knowledge. I'm telling you, you could create an earthquake filled with equity. A significant ability to give sound to the silenced. You could empower untold stories, represent those before these, nurture seeds that grow to enrich this earth. I'm telling you, you can make this change. I'm telling you, now. Thank you.
That could have been written for us. That could have been written for us. Really could have been, because that was brilliant. So that's the piece you performed last week, and that kind of, we went, oh, the whole audience went, wow. So there was a deep intake of it. So thank you ever so much for coming and joining us today.
Of course, man. Thank you for having me.
And we'd love to see more of you. So as and when you kind of write some more material, then please come and join us at KIC.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for having me.
One final plug. If people are looking for you, what about your social handles?
Oh, so I'm actually trying to expand. I'm on Instagram at Ray Ritess, RayRitess. Ritess is spelled with an R on purpose.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that try to correct me. It's actually spelled with an R on purpose. I'm on YouTube under the same name. Yeah, I think that's it really.
And we'll share it off our socials as well. So
I appreciate it.
So hopefully we'll get some people coming to you.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thanks ever so much for coming and joining us today.
No worries. Thank you.
Bring it back now. Youth voices matter. I've been waiting for you. We are KIC Radio.